Yes, yes, yes. And we are live. Yo, yo. Yo, yo, yo. What's good, everybody? Yeah, the slide in here with a sports update. Sports update post NFL draft, NBA playoffs. So the draft just ended. The first round of the draft just ended. I do want to get right into that, give my take on the things. So yeah, interesting first round right there. So the NFC North. I like what the NFC North did. The Bears at 10 took Colston Loveland. The Packers, Matthew Golden, wide receiver from the Packers. And the Vikings took an offensive lineman. So I like what the NFC North did. But biggest story coming out the first round, Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders didn't go in the first round. We did see the Giants. The Giants traded back into the first round to the 20 with the 25th pick, and they took Jackson Dart. They took Jackson Dart. Didn't elect to go with Shedeur Sanders there. So in the Giants quarterback room, you got Jameis Winston, you got Russell Wilson. They just signed. You could have added Shedeur. They went with Jackson Dart instead. So we'll see how that works out for the Giants. Yeah, and like I started with the NFC North, I like the Colston Loveland move. Colston Loveland, tight end out of Michigan, goes 10th overall to the Chicago Bears. They drafted Rome Badunze last year. You got DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. You already got Cole Kmet at tight end. I expect them to take a running back probably in the second or third round, a 1-2 punch with DeAndre Swift. They added Ben Johnson. So, yeah, they're going to have a lot of firepower on offense. I think really Chicago's offensive success determines it all falls in Caleb Williams' lap. But I like what they did taking Colston Loveland at 10. I like what the Packers did taking Matthew Golden, the wide receiver from Texas, adding him in there with Jordan Love to the Packers. Yeah, the NFC North is going to be real interesting offensively. You got JJ McCarthy with the Vikings. They added an offensive lineman. The Lions took defensive tackle Tyleik Williams out of Ohio State. Tyleik Williams. I think as far as the Lions, that was the right move. You had to get a player in the trenches. You had to go offensive line or defensive line. So I think the Lions made a correct move by taking a defensive tackle there. I know the edge from Marshall was also still on the board there. That would have been a good look for them as well. But as long as the Lions went offensive or defensive line, they got to stay strong in the trenches. I think that's where it starts for the Lions. It starts at the line of scrimmage for them. For everything else to work, for Goff, all the pieces he has, everything they have to win at the line of scrimmage. So drafting defensive tackle Tyleik Williams there, I don't have no problem with that. If I was the Lions second round, I would go offensive lineman. But yeah, Shedeur's still on the board after the first round. Cleveland has the first pick in the second round. I think Cleveland's going to take him. They also have the 36th pick in the second round, if I'm not mistaken. So I think Shedeur is going to end up going to Cleveland. Didn't end up being a first round pick. We all thought he was going to be, but it's not always about going in the first round. Sometimes, though, the best situation might be for you. You might fall into a better situation going into the second round. So the Browns did trade out of that second pick. They traded with Jacksonville. Jacksonville took Travis Hunter. Cleveland slid down to 5. They took Mason Graham. So I like what Cleveland's doing. They're working the draft. They moved back. They got a good player. They got extra draft capital. And I think they're going to take Shedeur with that first pick in the second round. I thought the Steelers were going to take him at 21. The Steelers elected to go with the defensive tackle out of Oregon, the Michigander product, Derek Harmon. He went 21st overall to the Steelers. I seen his draft watch party was right here in Oakland County. He was in Farmington Hills, so I thought Shedeur was going to go there, but ultimately I think he's going to go in the second round to the Cleveland Browns. So yeah, interesting first round right there, man. Some interesting picks. Emeka Egbuka, that wide receiver from Ohio State, went to the Bucks. Yeah, that was an interesting first round. So we got to see how the second round unfolds, and yeah, how the draft unfolds for all these teams. All right, so NBA playoffs tonight. Pistons lost game 3 to the New York Knicks. Pistons lose by 3, 116, 118. Karl-Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson combined for 61 points. Anunoby added 22. Miles Bridges added 20 points. So you got over 100 combined points for those guys right there. Yeah, I mean, you knew the Knicks were going to bring it this game 3. The Pistons went to the Garden and stole game 2. So Karl-Anthony Towns had a very weak game 2. So you know those guys were going to come out gunning. You knew they were going to play strong. That's exactly what Brunson and Towns did. 61 points combined between the two of those guys. So, yeah, they brought it. Tim Hardaway Jr. had a good game, but Beasley got to step up. He has to play better game 4. Pistons are favored in game 4. Early line on that. Pistons are a 2-point favorite in that one. But all in all, I expected Brunson and Towns and these guys to play much better this game 3 after the Pistons went to the Garden and stole one. So I do expect the Pistons to bounce back and win game 4. Game 4 is Sunday at the LCA, 1 p.m. start on that one. I expect the Pistons I expect the Pistons to beat New York going into that game 4. I do expect this series to go 7. This is one of the more evenly matched up series in the first round. The teams that match up well are the teams that are closer to each other, like the Pistons and the Knicks, the Nuggets and the Clippers. These are teams that are closer to each other, so I feel like these are going to be better playoff series. So, yeah, we got to see how they look game 4. I'm expecting to win from them, and then hopefully they can get that win Sunday, and then they're back to the Garden. They're back to the Garden. So some games tonight. Wrap this up before we get up out of here. Clippers up over the Nuggets. The Clippers are up over the Nuggets. Look like they're going to pull that one out. And Thunder and Grizzlies in a tight one right now. So, yeah, we live in the NBA playoff mix. We got the rest of the draft unfolding for the rest of the weekend. And, yeah, still a lot to unfold. So, yeah, that was just my analysis on tonight's teams, the things that happened. And, yeah, sports update. I'm going to wrap up the rest of the weekend, NBA playoffs, the draft. It's just Thursday night right here. More to come. And we up out of this thing, man. Peace.